Welcome everybody. Today's video finds us over here in Ayutthaya. We're at Wat Yai Chai Mongkol. So we're going to take a look at this temple. I believe it was built in 1357 by King U-thong for some Sri Lankan Buddha monks that came into here and they stayed at this temple. So anyway, this is a very, very popular temple, so I expect it to be quite crowded. It looks like there's several buses and stuff like that. So let's look here and I'll tell you a little bit about King Naresuan and tell you a little bit about this temple and see what we see. Now there's two highlights, actually three highlights to this temple. The first one is this Pranon Wihan, which is the Wihan for the reclining Buddha. And then it'll have the main chedi, and I'll tell you about why it was constructed. And it'll have a hall with some murals and stuff like that, an old hall that King Naresuan prayed in. So let's first look at this reclining Buddha, and then we'll go over and look at the other stuff. This is a reclining Buddha. And these are some of my favorite things to see. I like the reclining Buddhas and I like the temple murals. So you can see here, this used to be inside of this Wihan. You can see it would have had a really high ceiling and then it would have had these columns over here. So you would have been able to come in here and see it, but it would have been a little harder to see. Now it's just out here in the weather. And then you can see a little bit more of the temples, and then there is a canal and stuff right over here, and everybody wants to come and get their picture taken right here in front of the reclining Buddha. You see, it looks like a Sukhothai style Buddha. And then the feet here has the toes that are all the same length, and you can see the little hair rolls and stuff like that. And this would have had the little lotus flowers at the top of the columns. This would have been really cool to see. I really like these old halls like this. You can see what it would have looked like when this was new. This building right here, this is actually where that reclining Buddha is at. And then this is the hall that King Naresuan prayed in, and then the main chedi. So there are a series of these bell-shaped Sri Lankan style chedis along the way here. That one there, the top is completely gone. But you can see it had like the little arches here, so there would have been a place for like the Buddhas and stuff in it. Then it would have had the railing, and you would have been able to go up there to it and wrap the cloth and stuff like that. I don't know if you can see that very good. It's quite tall, but it is really, really nice. And then over here, this is highlight number 2. This is the hall where King Naresuan prayed in. You can see here, this is way, way cool. So they took the original building, you can see the brick walls, and they built a modern roof over the top of it. So they're incorporating the ruin into the new building, which I really like it when they do that. You can see the bell tower over here. So let's go inside this hall. This is the marker stones around this old hall. You can see the original wall here, and then they built the new modern construct around it. This is the original floor here, or the height of it. Then they came in and poured concrete on the top. So here you pray. They have a kind of a cool looking little Naga thing. And then they have a nice Buddha over here. And we'll go inside. This looks like a modern Buddha with the little Buddha footprint there. And you can see the incense. And everybody burns the candles and stuff. So in this hall here in 1549, one of the Thai kings came here and prayed also. There was an usurper to the throne, and he came here to pray and get guidance from the oracle. Now, whenever Ayutthaya fell, this temple was destroyed, and it was rebuilt again in like 1957 or so. Back when this was active, King Naresuan enlarged this hall. So you can see the original walls are those that are up there. And then it was enlarged, and when they restored it, they left the old parts of the wall up so you can kind of see what it looked like. You see the way they put that teak wood in the ceiling. Now what's important is this is the fight of King Naresuan on elephant back. We'll talk about that when we look at that chedi. You can see the condition of the old original wall. and it's kind of bowed in. Got a lady monk here doing their stuff. You see some of the new buildings that they have here. Yeah, this is a very, very popular temple for the Thais to come over, also for tourists. So you can see here would have been a little chedi, and then this would have been the old hall. And there would have been another wihan right on the opposite side of this from the prong, or the huge chedi. You see another one of the chedis with the bell-shaped, the Sri Lankan styling. And then back in here is monk quarters and more little chedis and stuff like that. And then you can see how tall the main prong is. And you see it from all over Ayutthaya. It's way, way cool. Here we are inside. So this is the cloister. You can see all the Buddhas. And then it would have had two small little buildings right here in front of the stairs that go up. How cool is this? This is just absolutely massive. I've been here many times, and it's always fun to come here and see it. You can see over here another little building with another seated Buddha inside of it. This is like Disneyland here today. Look at how many people are here. So this would have been a covered walkway, and all the Buddha images would have been facing in towards the central chedi. And you can see the walls of that wihan that we just was looking at. Yeah, there are people everywhere here. So this would have been covered. You would have walked around like 3 times, and then you would have had these huge Buddhas that would have been inside the little halls. Yeah, way cool. All right, let's go up into the stairs into the chedi now. You can see the stairwell that would have came down. Now there was probably a naga at the bottom of the stairwell originally. And then you would have seen these little buildings would have had a little cover around it. Now look at the base right there. That's kind of bowed like a boat. So that was built in the Ayutthaya styling. And then there would have been 4 little chedis around the main chedi. You can see the brickwork that they did around the base. Same as there, they did all the styling on the front of it. And then how cool is that with the little Buddha, this head sticking out of the little building. This is the first level here when you come up. So you can go up this way and see the chedis, and then go inside and see the relics. So let's go look at the chedis first. Come up these little stairs here. You can see here the Sri Lankan styling to these little chedis. These are on the 4 corners of the main platform. And then you can look down over there. Right over there is that reclining Buddha. And you can see that wihan we went into, and more of the temple. And you can see Ayutthaya out on the horizon. Kind of a cool look at the cloister right there. And all those little chedis. Yeah, so you'd have been able to walk right up in there. There would have been a relic inside of that on this side. And right down here, this at one time was a wihan, but the building is gone. They just have the Buddha sitting there, and you can see the old walls, and they put hedges in the middle. And there would have been a few other smaller little chedis and stuff like that. We'll look at that last. I hear some chanting, so the monks are doing their thing. Here's the chanting. They have the cloth to put around the chedi. It is just huge. There's the bell up there. You can see the other little small chedi. And you can just take a look, see how thick that plaster was on there. So you got 3 inches of plaster. So they did the rows of bricks, and then they put the final detail with that plaster over the top of it. Okay, let's go in and see the relic, and then we'll go look at that wihan that's completely gone. All right, so this is inside of the relic chamber here. So we're inside of the prong. And they put that ceiling up there to keep the bats and stuff, because otherwise you'd have bats living in here. And they have a row of old Buddhas. And then you can look way, way down. So people drop coins and stuff like that. So there's that that round stone that's buried down in the soil. And you see the Buddhas, they're just aligned here. Everybody comes and drops money for donations for the temple in there. And then this is looking back down at that Wehan that we first saw. And this, I like this a lot with the little buildings with the Buddhas in them. You can just see there's big crowds here at this temple. It's been a while since I've been over here. Looks like tourism is definitely back in order here in Thailand. You can see some cool looking Buddhas here next to the chedi. And you can see up there, that's the platform we were just walking around. I can't remember exactly how tall this chedi is. It's something like 80 or 82 meters. I can't recall offhand. If anybody knows, let me know in a comment down below how tall this is. Some more little Buddhas, and then another white one. Now the story of this chedi goes to King Naresuan. The Burmese were coming in to attack, and King Naresuan went out to meet him, and they met up near Suphanburi. And it's the famous elephant duel that King Naresuan had with the Burmese leader. And King Naresuan was victorious, and he wasn't able to defeat the Burmese army. His soldiers were too far behind, and he was in a fit of rage. And what happened was he was wanting to execute his commanders for not following and destroying the Burmese army after the commander was killed. And he wanted to execute him, but the head abbot at this temple said, don't execute him, build a chedi here in memory of the victory you had over the Burmese commander instead of executing him. So that's why they built this chedi. And it was renamed the temple to Wat Yai Chai Mongkol. You can see that's that cloth that those guys were wrapping around, and they're putting it around the base of the chedi now. And then this is inside of that Wehan. So you would have had the main Buddha here, and then they've came in and they planted these flowers or these little hedges inside of here. This would have been the wall of that building originally, and you would have came in over this really high threshold. And then these would have been the columns for the roof supports. One more look. So this would have been an enclosed hall with the Buddhas, and then that humongous chedi right behind. Oh, this is fantastic. Yeah, I've been to this temple many times. I brought my mom here, and I've just came many other times. It's one of the best. It's top 5 for sure. And it's not too far from the train station. So when you come in, you can get over here pretty easy. And it's near another temple that's another top 5, Wat Phnom Chong. And I may pin a comment to that one from this video. You can see the grounds are just immaculate. All this grass out here, all these little chedis, and then the exterior wall around the temple. Let's look at the gate, and that'll be the last thing we look at, I think. Got a little reclining Buddha right here at the base of this chedi. And that's just right next to the main chedi. These would have been one of the gates right here. You can see the little arches. Now the top of the arch is gone from this one here, but you can see the styling that it would have had. I really like these gates and walls and everything that they built around. And then this is right next to some of the monk quarters. That's going to finish up our video over here at this amazing temple, Wat Yai Chai Mongkol. This is fantastic. This is one of the best temples that you'll see. This goes back to 1357, I believe, and it was built originally by King U-thong. So it was right after the foundation of Ayutthaya in 1350. And it was built originally for those group of monks from Sri Lanka. It is way cool. The chedi was built later on by King Naresuan, and it's worth coming over here and taking a look, as you can see from the crowd and everything like that. This is one of my favorites here in Ayutthaya. I was over here, so I wanted to take a look at it today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you smash like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, stick around, and you're notified when I post a new video. And if you've been here, let me know in a comment down below what you think, if you enjoyed it, or tell me some of your memories about it. And until next time, from over here in Ayutthaya, remember, life is a journey. Until next time, enjoy.